I left my phone on the dashboard when I turned onto County Road 14, expecting pine trees and silence. Instead, I saw stucco walls, fresh asphalt, and a banner that read "Welcome Home." 48 houses stood where my family's land had been for half a century. Kids were unloading bikes. A moving truck blocked the driveway I grew up clearing with my father. The man at the gate laughed when I said I owned the property. The HOA chairwoman didn't laugh. She smiled like someone who already knew how this would end. She said the land was unused, legally claimed, and fully sold. Then she told me to leave before I embarrassed myself. So I did. And I let them finish building. My name is Aaron Cole. I'm 44, a municipal surveyor by trade, recently separated, permanently tired. I drive a dented Tacoma with a cracked windshield and keep receipts folded into envelopes because that's how my dad did it. Nothing about my life suggested I was headed for a legal war until my aunt passed away and left me 52 acres outside Flagstaff, Arizona. High desert land. Juniper, red soil, quiet that hums in your ears. The property had been in our family since 1969. My grandfather bought it after Vietnam, built a one-room cabin, and spent weekends repairing fence lines and arguing with coyotes. When he died, it passed to my aunt. When she died, it came to me with one handwritten line attached to the will: "Don't trust paperwork alone. Trust proof." For 4 years, I didn't visit. Work contracts, my marriage falling apart, my mom's health. But I paid the taxes. Every year. On time. I had the county confirmation saved in a folder labeled "Land, Do Not Lose." In May 2023, I finally took time off to clear brush and maybe rebuild the cabin. That's when I found Sunrise Mesa Estates. 48 homes. Private roads. A sales office. And an HOA president who told me my family's land had been legally absorbed. That night, I laid everything out on my kitchen table. The original 1969 deed. My aunt's will. Tax payment receipts going back over a decade. County parcel maps. GPS coordinates saved on my phone. There was no ambiguity. No lapse. No abandonment. Whatever Sunrise Mesa Estates was, it wasn't legal. I didn't argue with her at the gate. I'd learned, working with municipalities, that confident liars love witnesses. Instead, I drove home in silence, hands tight on the wheel, replaying her words. Legally absorbed. That wasn't even real terminology. It was something said to intimidate people who didn't know better. Unfortunately for her, I did know better. The next morning, I called the developer listed on the sign, Horizon Crest Communities. Their attorney returned my call within an hour, which told me everything. He spoke smoothly, professionally, like a man reading from a script he'd practiced. According to him, Horizon Crest had acquired the land through a quiet title process after determining it had been unused for years. They were willing, out of courtesy, to offer me a goodwill settlement of $20,000 if I signed a quitclaim deed immediately. I asked one question: had they obtained a court judgment confirming title before selling homes? Silence. Then deflection. Then the threat: litigation would be long and expensive. That afternoon, I hired a lawyer who didn't smile much. Her name was Renee Alvarez. Former county prosecutor. Specialized in land fraud and eminent domain abuse. Her office walls were bare except for framed court orders. She listened without interrupting, then asked for my tax records. When she saw them, she exhaled through her nose and said, "They're lying." Badly. But she didn't tell me to file immediately. She told me to wait. If we stopped construction, she explained, Horizon Crest would declare insolvency. The case would splinter into dozens of lawsuits, buyers, banks, insurers, all pointing fingers. Years of delay. But if we let them finish, every nail, every sale, every contract became evidence of intentional misconduct. They didn't just trespass, she said. They monetized it. So I waited. I drove by Sunrise Mesa twice a week, always from the public road. I documented everything. Time-stamped photos. Drone footage from legal airspace. Recorded sales events, moving trucks, open houses. The HOA president, her name was Valerie Knox, noticed me eventually. She called the sheriff. The deputy warned me not to cause discomfort. I told him to check the county records. He did. His tone changed, but not enough to help. By August, families were moving in. Kids chalked driveways. Solar panels went up. A couple planted a lemon tree in what had been my aunt's meadow. I felt sick watching it. These people weren't villains. They were collateral. Then the pressure campaign started. First came the letters. Cease and desist notices accusing me of harassment. Then a code enforcement complaint claiming illegal dumping on my land, which Horizon Crest was actively occupying. The inspector found nothing and quietly apologized. Off the record, he mentioned Horizon Crest had a history of filing complaints against anyone who challenged them. Then my employer got a call. A concerned citizen asked whether I was trustworthy, given ongoing legal disputes involving stalking behavior. I was put on administrative leave. My sister called in tears after someone messaged her screenshots of a Facebook post claiming I was threatening families. Valerie Knox's name was on the post. Renee told me not to respond. This is panic, she said. And panic leaves fingerprints. She was right. Through public records requests, we discovered Horizon Crest had never obtained a quiet title judgment. They'd filed paperwork implying one was pending, then rushed permits through before anyone noticed. Worse, an internal email surfaced from a disgruntled former project manager showing executives knew the land had an active taxpaying owner. The plan, spelled out in plain language, was to build fast, sell faster, and force a settlement. Renee filed for declaratory judgment and fraud. She also quietly contacted the state attorney general's office. That's when Horizon Crest escalated. A private investigator showed up at my sister's workplace asking about me. An anonymous IRS tip triggered an audit notice. Someone spray-painted thief on my garage door. I slept with my phone on my chest and a baseball bat by the bed. Renee filed emergency motions for witness intimidation and defamation. The judge granted temporary orders within 24 hours. 2 weeks before the hearing, a local investigative reporter reached out. She'd been tipped off by someone inside Horizon Crest. Renee approved one interview. Truth only, she said. No speculation. The story aired 3 nights later. Drone footage. Documents on screen. Families interviewed saying they'd never been told about a title dispute. Horizon Crest issued a statement calling it misleading. The next morning, their stockholder meeting was canceled. On the eve of court, I received one last message from an unknown number: walk away or lose everything. I forwarded it to Renee. She replied with one word: good. The courthouse was full the next day. Homeowners sat behind me. Horizon Crest's executives avoided eye contact. Valerie Knox stared straight ahead, jaw clenched. And for the first time since I turned onto County Road 14, I felt steady. The judge didn't raise her voice once. She didn't have to. The courtroom went silent as she read from the bench, line by line, dismantling Horizon Crest's story. No valid quiet title judgment. No lawful transfer. Documented knowledge of an active owner. Recorded sales conducted anyway. Intent mattered, she said, and in this case, intent was undeniable. She denied the developer's motion outright and granted ours in full. Fraud. Trespass. Unjust enrichment. She ordered an immediate halt to all transfers and ruled that legal ownership of the land and every structure on it belonged to me. Horizon Crest's counsel requested a recess. The request was denied. Then came the part no one expected. The judge referred the case to the state attorney general for criminal investigation, citing evidence of systematic land theft and coordinated intimidation. The word conspiracy echoed in the room like a dropped plate. Valerie Knox left before the ruling finished. 2 executives stayed seated, staring at their hands. Behind me, someone sobbed quietly. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. The judge closed with a sentence I'll never forget: property rights do not disappear because someone with more money decides they should. The gavel fell. For the first time in months, the room exhaled. I didn't celebrate. Not right away. The ruling gave me legal control over 48 finished homes and the land beneath them, but it also handed me 48 families staring at me like I held their future in my hands. I could have enforced my rights, sold the houses, walked away wealthy and justified. The law would have backed me completely. Instead, I called a meeting. Every homeowner. One room. No lawyers on stage. Just me and Renee standing under fluorescent lights in a half-finished community center Horizon Crest never bothered to complete. I told them the truth, that they were victims, not trespassers. That their homes weren't going to be taken from them. Not now. Not ever. We formed a land trust. Each family received clear title at cost. No markup. No interest. The developer paid through court-ordered restitution, seized assets, and insurance recoveries. The HOA dissolved. Valerie Knox resigned before the ink dried. I kept 6 acres at the edge of the property, rebuilt my grandfather's cabin, and planted juniper where bulldozers once stood. I went back to work. My audit vanished. The Facebook posts disappeared as fast as they'd appeared. A year later, kids still ride bikes where survey stakes used to be. And every time I open that old folder marked land, do not lose, I remember this: systems only work when someone refuses to be erased.